let me show you how to build a party RSVP app here on Jotform. So follow me to my desktop right now. Welcome to Jotform. Building an app for RSVP is a fantastic idea, especially for people who are going to host the actual event. So knowing if someone is going to attend, if they have allergies, how many people are going to attend is crucial information so your event goes smoothly. So having this information at a glance is super useful. Plus, you're able to do this really easily with our templates. So let's get started. This is my Jotform dashboard, and we are going to create the RSVP app. So let's go into create. We are going to select application here. So we're going to go to the app, and there's several available options to get started. We can get started from scratch and just build everything one by one, adding images, elements, all you're going to need for your app from scratch, which could be pretty useful once you get the hang of it. But I would definitely recommend that you get started with a template, which is what I'm going to show you today. But you also have the option to build a store. In this case, it won't apply for an RSVP unless you plan to sell entrances or something. Then you have the clone existing app if you already have one and you want to clone it. Okay, so we are going to get started with a template. Now on the top, we have a search bar. In this case, I'm going to search for RSVP since that is what we are focusing on. And there's several available options here. So as of this video, there's 24 templates available, and you have several available options to get started with a template. In this case, I'm going to use this wedding RSVP app. I can go ahead and select it first. I can preview this. I can test it out. I can open it. I can make modifications. I can respond to this app just to make sure that this is what I want to use. And if this is okay, I'm going to use a template. If not, just go ahead and jump out and go into another template to test it out. So let's go ahead and use this one right here. One of the big benefits of using the app is that we can share this really easily with our attendees. So we can share it via a QR code, a link, via email, and just several options available to share. Here we go. Our event template has now been loaded, and we can now modify it to our own needs. Now, before I do that, let me show you on the right the live preview of this template that we've just loaded in so we can test it out for ourselves. Now on the right, we're able to fill this out. In this case, yes, I'm going to attend. I'm going to hit next. I'm not going to fill this out because this is just for demo purposes. Let's hit next. Let's go ahead and submit this. And we have now told them that we are going to attend. Now on the bottom, you're going to see that there's a button that says see invitation. I can go ahead and click on that and go to the invitation section of this application, or I can click on the menu and go to the invitation section. So right now we have those two available pages for the application. Let me go ahead and close this preview. Here's the demo form right here that we've just added, and we can modify to our own needs. Now, the first thing I want to do is add some pages before I bring in some elements to this RSVP form. So the next page I want to add is the page 4. Let me go ahead and name this, and this is going to be the address code. And the next page is going to be, for example, the map for the location, or I can say location, which would be a better title for this. Okay, so we have two new sections here. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is customize the actual form that you have already to make sure that it has the requirements for your own event. And if not, go ahead and add them here. Okay, so first thing, we're going to click on the top section here where we can modify the details. In this case, for example, the template says it's the 10th of June. In this case, maybe it's the 19th of May, just to give you an example. And you can modify this really easily. And you can just go ahead and remove this if you don't want to use it. We can add a beautiful image too with the elements, right? And then we have the form that's already added into this application. This form is also brought by the template, so we can modify this. Let me go ahead and click on the gear icon here. So we go to properties, and you can see here that this is tied to the wedding RSVP form. So that means that when they open up the application, it'll kick off this form when they start filling it out to respond if they are going to attend or not. I can edit the form right here, and I can change the form in case I have a different form that I've previously created. In this case, let's go ahead and jump into edit form just to give you an idea how that is going to work. And in this case, what I edit over here on the form, that will be reflected on the application. So that means that if I want to give another option here, let's just say for the attendance, maybe it's not just or yes or no. Maybe I want to add an option for maybe, and that's not available in the template. So just go ahead and add it right here, and it's super easy to customize your form. Go through the elements that the form has for us, and if there's an element missing, just go ahead and add it over here on the left. There's several available options. So maybe you want to add just a short text right here, really a simple question like, do you have any allergies? Okay, that's a really important question. So we have now edited this form right here, and that will be reflected on the application. So it's super easy to modify the form that you're going to use the application over here. Okay, you have several available options that you want to go through, so you make sure that everything's set up the way you want. Okay, so here we go. We have 2 new pages. There's a dress code option, and we have elements that we can bring inside of here. So for example, in this case, first thing we want to do is add some rich text inside of here, and let's go ahead and customize this. And I'm going to just say dress code. Going to keep it really simple. Let's go ahead and center this. Here we go. Let's change the size. Here we go. Keep it like that. It's going to be pretty much simple, right? So dress code. Then we want to bring in an image. So let's go ahead and bring it inside of here. Here we go. Maybe we created an image that has the dress code details available here. So all you have to do is upload that image, and that's going to look just like the one over here where there's the invitation section. So it's pretty simple. But if you don't want to do that, if you just want to do this manually, go ahead and take advantage of the rich text element that we've just added. You can add the dress code right here. So maybe you want to make a list. So let's do bullet points. So all black, for example, a tie or a dress, so on and so forth, in case you don't have an image to upload. Okay, so we're going to keep it really simple. So that's the dress code. Then we have the location. Over here on the left, you have your basic elements, and there's a map option here. So we're going to drag it into the location section. Again, I can go into the properties and change the details for these. We can grab the latitude and longitude from any map that you search for, so you can put the wedding location exactly where it's going to be. So it's really practical to add it right here. Okay, that is for the map. Now, how do we jump into these sections? Well, we have the option to go to the menu, which is going to be available right here. You can see here we have the dress code and the location, but we can also add a button to go to these sections. So again, on the left, we have some elements. There's a button element, and I'm going to drag it. Let me go ahead and go up here where we have the first page of the app. So this is where I'm going to add this button. I'm not going to customize it right now. I'm just going to give you an idea of how it works. So let's go ahead and go to properties. I'm going to say dress code. We have the style options, and I'm going to use just a simple style here. Let's go to actions, and you have options here. So you can take them to a URL. We can take them to open a page, open a form, open a URL, send email, make a call, or open share model. In this case, we want to take them to a page, and that page is going to be the dress code. So now when they click on that button, it's going to take them to the dress code page, which is pretty cool, right? And it's super easy to really customize your RSVP application. Now, in this case, there's an image already here. We can go ahead and modify this. Remember, this is a template. We're going to remove this and add our own invitation, so people know when the day is going to be and the location. So you have several available options. You can add as many pages as needed for your application. Now, in terms of elements, there's several available elements to really highly customize your application. By adding an image gallery, maybe there's a gallery for the couple who is going to get married, image slider, there's videos, maps, social follow, testimonials, tables, reports. So depending on your use case is what you want to add right here. Plus, there's a widgets tab available here, again, with advanced widgets that you can take advantage to use here on your RSVP application. So it's super easy to modify and get started. Once you are good to go, I do recommend that you jump into settings and check details here that you might want to enable or disable. For example, for the app settings, add to home screen model, show QR code on desktop, which is useful, continue forms later if you want to enable that for your attendees. A progress bar, in this case, it's not enabled since it's not a step form. Prevent cloning, and you have options, for example, the app name details. In this case, the wedding RSVP app for John and Mary. Just change the details right here, and it's going to automatically update. Edit the icon to upload your own. So maybe it's an icon with the initials of the couple who's getting married. Really easy to customize right here. The splash screen options. So right now it's green. Maybe that's not the color that you want to get started with. Maybe it's going to be white. So just go ahead and change it like that. Super easy to customize. Push notifications and an AI chatbot if you want to provide support for users with AI, which could be useful or not depending on your use case. Okay. Then for actually sharing your RSVP app, let's go into publish, and there's several available options to share your app. So first option is by sharing a simple link. So if you want to send everyone through WhatsApp a link, that is possible right here by just sharing this link. You can also invite via email. So if you have an email list, you can send it off right here. And you also have the option to share the app. One of the most useful ones is the QR code, because if you are sending out a flyer or if you're sending out an image through WhatsApp, etc., or wherever you want to post this, there's an option to scan the QR code and take them to the application to start using it right now. Now, that is one of the ways that you can take full advantage of the RSVP app. Another option would be to actually just create a form. If you don't want to share an application, but you want to share a form, that is possible too. So if you go to create, go to forms, again, we have several available options. In this case, we are going to use a template and we're going to search for RSVP. Let's go ahead and find templates. And there's 107 templates available right now for your RSVP forms. In this case, I'm going to use this party RSVP form. I can go ahead and preview this, test it out. If I like it, then I can go ahead and use the template. In this case, I know this is the one that I want, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And we now have a form that's an RSVP form. So here we go. This template has a few questions that we can start using right away, and we can customize it by adding more questions. Now, in this case, I'm going to add a maybe to this. So I'm going to add a new option and I'm going to say maybe, so I can allow more flexibility to my RSVP form. Now, there's several more options that I can add here. For example, I can add a short text to ask if they have any allergies. For example, do you have any allergies? And I can leave a short text here to let them respond a simple no, or actually describe what their allergy is going to be. How about knowing how many people they're going to bring? So in this case, it's a short text, but I'm going to do a multiple choice because I don't want to allow too much flexibility. So on the left, I have my elements. I'm going to use a drop down for this. Here we go. I'm going to drop it here and I'm going to ask how many will attend. Here we go. And the options are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So that way I'm only providing up to 4 people. If I just leave a short text for a number, they can invite as many people as they want. So in this case, I am limiting them with the questions right here. And how about the meal type? So for example, let's add a single choice. For example, we're going to ask meal type, and this is going to help me organize how many plates I will need, for example, for chicken, beef, vegetarian, and we'll have those 3 options. So it helps me know this information. So it helps me prepare for the event. Now, right now we're getting a missing field option here. So it's using a calculator to set the total people count here. So we're going to go into the widget settings, and it has a missing field because we removed it when we removed the how many people will attend. So all we have to do is go ahead and update this with how many people will attend. Let's go ahead and save this, and it's now going to work. Okay, so we're good to go. Now there's several available elements that we can take advantage here to really customize our RSVP form. There's also payment options in case this is a paid event. There's widgets available for more flexibility with your elements. And we can also customize the look and style of our RSVP. So right now we are looking at a party type RSVP here, but maybe we want to change the style of this. So we're going to go into the form designer, and on the right, we can change the colors really easily by just selecting them right here. For example, changing the color scheme. We can use the designer copilot, for example, create a background image for a festive celebration. Let's go ahead and send this off. And it's going to use AI to generate that image for us, which could be a time saver. So let's give this a few seconds. Here we go. And it just created the image for us automatically, which is pretty cool, right? So let's go back into the form designer. Again, you can use the designer copilot, change the color scheme, change everything manually here, like changing the page image. But that image looks fantastic for a party. It looks like it's going to be a fun party, right? Then we're going to go into styles, and we can change details here with the copilot, or by doing it manually here by changing the form width, label alignment, and just details. And you can insert custom CSS to highly customize the look of this RSVP form. Then we have themes. So if you just want to go with one of the themes available here, just go ahead and use it, and it's going to automatically update it with the theme that you've just selected. And you also have layout options to change it from classic form to card form, which is a step form. So several available options for the layout style right here. Now, aside from that, there's several available settings to highly customize your RSVP form here on the settings section. So for example, we have the form settings where we can set the title for this. Party RSVP is totally fine. The form status, do you want to have this enabled? Do you want it to be disabled? Do you want it to disable on a specific date? So let's just say that after the actual party date, we can disable this. So let's just say that the party is the 31st. Well, we can disable this the actual party day or the day after that. That way, it's just going to automatically disable once we're good to go. And you can also disable this on submission limits. So if you are going to limit this to 100 attendees, you can limit this right here. Okay, so several available options. Then we have our email options for example, the notifications. So we got our notifications and the autoresponder. We can edit each one of these by clicking on the edit option. You can select the recipients from here, and you got the advanced options available here. Same thing goes with the autoresponder, where we can edit this. You can edit the whole style right here to make it look like a party invitation when they fill it out, so they receive a nice looking email. The recipients, we can change the sender name to our own name or the party name instead of just saying Jotform, and the details available here. Then you have your advanced options for the autoresponder. Then there's also conditional logic that helps us take full advantage of our form. For example, a show or hide fields, or if you have a step form, you can make it jump into a different section. For example, show or hide fields, I can show fields depending if they respond, if they are going to attend or not. For example, if the will you be attending the party state is equal to, for example, yes, then I can show multiple. In this case, I can show, for example, all of the rest here. So for example, this one. Here we go. And I can go ahead and save it. Here we go. Now let me test this for you. Let's go into preview form. And if they respond, maybe, nothing happens, or no, you can just go ahead and submit. But if they select yes, then we have these questions appear. So if they select no or maybe, they don't need to fill out all of this because we don't know how many people are going to attend. Do they have allergies? It's things that we don't need the response to. So it helps us by using conditional logic, and you can add more conditions to this for different type of situations. If you want to use a calculated field, enabled or require a masked field. For example, if they selected yes, we can make it require that they respond to different questions, change the thank you page to make it look nice. And if they, for example, are not attending, that message can be different. Or if they are attending, that will be a different thank you page where it says, hey, we're glad to have you at our party. Or if they say no, we can say, hey, we're sorry you're not going to make it. But if you change your mind, go ahead and just fill out this form again. You know, we can change the thank you page just by using conditional logic, which is pretty cool. You can also use the change email recipient, run integrations, depending on your use case. We have the default thank you page here in case you don't use conditional logic, and it has a party style and it's just this thank you. We can go ahead and customize all of this by changing images, typing in here what you would like to say. So it's pretty much straightforward. Or you can send them to a link. So if this is a wedding and you send them to the wedding link, you can do so by just selecting here. So when they finish submitting the form, it goes straight to that link. Then you have your integrations in case you want to integrate this with other applications to send data or store data, etc. You got workflows, Jotform sign, and mobile notifications. So several available options. And once you're good to go, you set everything the way you like, go into publish, and you have your quick sharing options. You can share your party RSVP by just sharing this link really easily. You can invite them via email. You can create an AI agent if that's something useful for your party invitation, or you can use the QR code option to share this QR code, which is pretty useful. So it depending how you want to share this, okay? You got your AI agents option, you got an embed. So if you have a wedding or a party website and you want to embed the form inside of there for the invitation, you can assign a form, you can email remind your attendees, for example, share an email or schedule a reminder, which is really useful. For example, it can remind them once a week before the actual party so they don't miss it. So you can customize the email content here. You have your recipients and you have your schedule options here. So daily, weekly, or monthly. So depending on your use case, you can set the details here for the reminder email. So a really useful feature here on Jotform. Now let me go ahead and fill this form out so you can view how you're going to view the list of all your attendees who are going to attend or not your party. So let me go ahead and fill this out with demo data really quickly. So let's fill out the form. Here we go. Let's go ahead and submit this. Here we go. Let me go ahead and submit it once more. Here we go. In this case, it's going to be no, and I'm going to submit. And we have two submissions. So let's go ahead and jump into our tables. So now we are going to view every single submission here on Jotform Tables, which is going to help us organize every single aspect of our RSVP. So for example, if we want to know how many people attended, we can use the filter to only view people who will attend, and it makes it easier for us to preview it here. We can view the list of details, their phone number, their email, the meal type. All those details will be available for us to preview really easily here at a quick glance. Now, if I want to create a new tab with different details, maybe I don't want to preview everything, just certain details, I can create a new tab. I can create, for example, a card type tab. Let's hit next. And I'm going to use connect to a form, which is this form right here. I'm going to go ahead and select it. Let's hit next. And I can select the details that I want to view. So maybe I just want to know the name, phone number, and email, and if they are going to attend. Okay, so it's going to keep it simple. It'll create that card view so I can view important details at a quick glance, like the name, the phone number, and the email, just in case I need to contact them. In case the party was canceled, I have a quick glance right here where I can view who will attend and the details to contact them. So you can create different type of views for different type of situations here for your party RSVP form. So as you can see in this video, it's super easy to create your RSVP form for your events. So what are you waiting for? Create your application and create your forms so you can start taking full control of your events and having all the details that you're going to need to have a successful event. Don't forget to let me know here in the comments what you think about the options available for your event RSVP forms and what you would like to see in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification to get notified when new videos come out. And that's a wrap.